The Sims 4 for rent is corrupting your saves. But it's not the only problem. There's a lot more going on beneath the surface. Let's break down what's really happening so you can protect your game and your legacy families. Save game corruption isn't new for The Sims. Do you remember The Sims 2? Players used to think that deleting gravestones was the main culprit, but the real problem ran much deeper. Back then, every bit of info, Sims, lots, relationships, and so on, had its own file. One bad file could doom your whole neighborhood. The Sims 3 wasn't much better. Were you haunted by error code 12 or those endless loading screens? Modders like Niras literally saved our saves with their fixes. But The Sims 4 changed everything with its single save file system. So, does that make you safer or even more at risk? Let's find out. Corruption in The Sims 4 has always been simmering away on the back burner, but the For Rent expansion pack turned up the heat. By letting you cram up to 48 Sims in one lot, it is a recipe for chaos and save file overload. You might have seen error codes like 140, which is due to outdated mods, or 111, thank you so much, Cottage Living Rabbits. There are loads more, and thankfully, Crinricht has made a list of them over on their website. Check my description for the link. So what does a corrupted save actually look like? It's sneakier than you might think. Corruption doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Often it starts as little glitches such as lots appearing empty, missing households, or endless loading screens. Unlike a simple bug, corruption spreads, getting worse over time until your save is toast. You need to look out for things like lots outside your active lot looking empty or reset to how they looked before you changed them. Your game not loading or getting stuck on loading screens. Households and lots just vanishing into the ether. Have you ever seen your Sims world slowly unravel? Drop a comment if you've spotted any of these warning signs. So what causes corruption? It's rarely just one bug that causes save corruption. Corruption is a perfect storm. The longer you play, the more data piles up and the more fragile your save becomes. Here's what makes things risky. Having huge, long-running saves. The more Sims, more stuff, equals more problems. Too many residential rental units, outdated mods or mismatched game mod versions, force quitting during a save, and overloaded lots. That's too many objects on your lots or using move objects cheat too much. But is For Rent really the villain here or just the scapegoat? The answer might surprise you. After For Rent launched, save corruption reports exploded on social media and in the forums. But while For Rent didn't invent the problem, its massive new systems pushed many long-running saves over the edge. For Rent lets you have up to 99 units per save file. That's a lot of extra data. If you've ever played the same legacy family for years, this expansion could be the straw that breaks your Sim saves back. Other packs have broken things before. Do you remember Get to Work's retail bugs? But For Rent touches almost every household and lot in your Sims worlds, making instability much more likely to snowball. So how can you actually protect your saves and keep your Sims safe? We've got an action plan, don't worry. There is no magic fix, but you can make your saves a lot safer with a few simple habits. First, don't overwrite your save files. Instead, use save as and rotate between multiple saves for the same game. Back up your saves folder regularly, either locally on your PC or up to the cloud on a file service such as Dropbox. Update your mods and custom content before you update The Sims 4, and check for conflicts as soon as possible. Don't mix old mods with new game versions or vice versa, and be really cautious when downloading lots from the gallery. A lot of gallery lots are object heavy and not optimized for gameplay. So when will EA actually fix these save breaking issues? Here's the latest news, and as often is the case with software development, it's much more complicated than you might think. So on the 26th of August, the Sims Direct Communications dropped a major update blog post on bug fixes. But before you get your hopes up, listen to these numbers. 29 for rent issues have been fixed, but there are still 37 more being tracked. Some fixes depend on us as players reporting and sending in our saves. But what does this mean for your legacy families and multi-generation saves? Let's break down the real risks because some of these issues could hit your game next. So what are the save file issues? Lots and houses disappear with many rental units. There's been a partial fix found, but it's not been resolved yet. There's a white screen when loading the world, especially on PlayStation 4. Some people have been saying that their game won't launch at all. However, EA says that there are 0 confirmed cases of this so far. If this happens to you, they urgently need your report over on the EA forums. There are 6 major issues for the game actually loading, but the save file won't, including being unable to load lots after the 19th of August update, endless loading screens with gallery lots, and load error 800 and 801. Now, EA cannot produce these load errors, so if you get the load error 800 or 801, your save could be crucial for a fix. There's also some broken world issues, such as neighboring builds missing, builds and lots disappearing, and floating furniture. Just because these aren't unique to For Rent, though, it does not mean that the expansion isn't making them worse. If you play with big families and tons of builds, your risk is higher than ever. EA does compliance testing and even pays some simmers to do playtesting for them, but here's the truth. They cannot possibly test every pack, every mod, and every playstyle combo. That's why player feedback is critical. Mods and custom content add another layer. EA can't test for them, and some mods change how your save file works. If you use mods, the devs have written a best practices guide for you to follow. Did you know that EA shares their tuning description files with modders and custom content creators on a special Discord to help them keep up? Even so, every update is a gamble for modded saves. So be super careful if you put mods or custom content in your game. Corruption has always been a lurking threat, but For Rent has shown us just how fragile Sims 4 saves can actually be. If you've built up a legacy or spent hours on custom builds, you have a right to be cautious. Here's the good news. Your reports, your votes, and your shared saves are moving the needle. Every single bug that you log on the EA forums helps EA prioritize fixes. I've put a link to the forums in the description underneath this video. And if you missed the last Sims 4 news, I've got an entire playlist for you over here.